So, hello everyone. Before I begin, I have a question for you. So, if you can raise your hand, who of you is a developer or thinks that he is, like me? Okay. Who of you is an auditor, security auditor? Good. So I will try to make it easy, like introduction, what is it an audit, and this is what I needed to find out. So I'm Josef, nice to meet you. I'm CEO of cybersecurity company Ackee Blockchain, and also assistant professor at the Czech Technical University in Prague, where I finished my Ph.D. in distributed systems. And Ackee Blockchain, what is it about? So we are basically, as being said, security auditors, but our mission is wider than just like working for clients. We are also happy to give something back to the community. So we are investing a lot to open source tooling because I think the leading auditing companies should have a leading open source. So that's one of our missions. And the next mission is that we are heavily helping with education and onboarding new developers to blockchain. So we teach at the Czech Technical University in Prague, and we also are doing free online courses where everyone can learn. Our last run of Solana school had about 700 attendees, so we are quite helping heavily to onboard the next generation of developers to blockchain. We are working with quite top-tier protocols, namely Safe, Gnosis Safe, 1inch, Trader Joe, so these are our clients. But the topic of this presentation is blockchain audit. So what is it about? Why do you need it? And how user can benefit from a protocol or project that was audited. So it's not this. I spoke to Deloitte over there, but they are trying to get into space. But right now, these guys don't provide blockchain audits. It's also not this. The blockchain audit, it's not like a stamp, like in Web 2, that it's audited, which means it's secure. I'm sorry, it doesn't work that way. It's more like this. So like some kind of magic dwarfs doing some ritual in a basement. And I would like to a little bit show you the magic behind this. So how does it work when the protocol is being audited? So of course, someone has to pay for that. And that's usually the client who is the protocol or the project that's ordering the audit. And it's not like a thing that you order once and go away and it's check audited. Security should be a process. So the best results or the most confidence is when the process is long-term. It's not just like about one audit. So it's good to have like continuous auditing. One of the most secure projects is 1inch. They have for every release they do 5 to 8 independent audits by 5 to 8 independent companies. We are one of them, and then you can pretty much say that they are doing like what they can for the security. So the best audits are for every release and by multiple independent external parties, at least 2. And the good thing about the audit is that it's not just for the developers, it's not just for the client, but how we write it, it's for the users, which means even if the client is paying, the result of our work is the PDF that is then made public, and the PDF is written that way that users should understand it. And what is not an audit? So basically, as I said, the audit doesn't tell if the protocol is safe. It only tells that the company tried to spend this amount of time to find all possible issues, and here are the outcomes, but it shouldn't say like, okay, it's audited, it's safe. If any audit does it, it's not a good audit. And also, it's not guaranteed that the auditing team has discovered all possible issues, so that's why we, even as auditors, like when there are like multiple independent audits, sometimes some company didn't catch everything, so the other does that work before the hackers. And of course, the audit doesn't guarantee that the protocol didn't change. So if you have a like protocol that was audited in 21, so probably they have released a new version, you know, and if they have still their 21 audit on the website, it's outdated. So you have to check like the release of the audit, release of the latest, I don't know, commit to master branch on the GitHub of the protocol, and if there's like If this doesn't match, it means the audit is basically like worth nothing. And what are the goals of the audits, or at least how we are trying to do it? We are trying to be the hackers that the client basically hires to do the hacking before the hackers do it. So we are not like looking for some low-hanging fruit or writing some formal comments. We are trying to break things. And also, even if there is like some kind of issue that cannot be exploited right now, it could be exploited in the future. And these issues are also very important to find. So critical issue is basically the issue that could lead to a hack of a protocol. High severity issue is the issue that cannot be used right now for the hack of the protocol, but in the future could. So we are going from the most critical to least criticals. And also, it's good to check like good practices of the development team. Because, for example, even if in the audit are no issues, but if we see that they are like their code is a mess, then probably with this kind of workflow, they will make the mistake in the future. That's why we write in the executive summary of the audit some kind of like comment about the maturity of the dev team, because it somehow helps to predict, you know, if they are probably staying safe or not. So this is the critical issue that was discovered by auditors, and this is why the auditors do it. And how can you find out if the company that has created the audit is reputable? So there are some kind of marks that can help you. So of course, like the most reputable companies are trusted by the most reputable protocols, which means if you see that a company has audited some high-profile protocols, they probably trust them, they are probably good. But my favorite hard data metrics is the ratio, and it's between how many protocols did the company hack, which means how many critical issues they discovered. And on the other side is how many critical issues they missed, which means either they were discovered by some other audits, or the worst case, they were discovered by the hackers. And you can make like easy formula of that, easy function. So basically the function of reputation of the auditing company is 1 minus the times they got hacked divided by the how many they discovered hacks. With us, we are lucky, we are 3 years on the market and we have never been hacked, but I'm always telling that it will happen sometime. But on the other side, when there will be like the one hack, we still have 32 critical issues we discovered this year, so we'll be still close to 1, which is okay. If it's below 0, I would say it's a garbage company. And so how does the audit look like for the user? So as it's a process, there should be some kind of document revision. So easily the user can read, you know, if it's the first revision or if it was like iterated many times. There is in every audit something like a methodology. And of course, auditing is not a thing that can be replaced by AI right now. It's not a thing that's done by some tools, because if there's a tool, everyone can use it, you know, so that doesn't make sense. So what the protocols are paying for are the masterminds that do the manual code review. So the main methodology should be manual code review, not some tool-based analysis. And also, it's good sign when the auditing company presents real names who were working on the audit report. A lot of projects have some kind of like 0xHacker1 nicknames, you know, which tells you nothing. It looks cool, but on the other side, you know, skin in the game, when there's a name of the guy and you know when this guy screw up, you know, you can find him, and no pressure for my auditors, but it's good for the clients, you know, to see that we are really like standing behind our work. And of course, there is an executive summary, which is the one-pager that every user can read. And in the summary is clearly written like what was audited, when was it audited, and how much time was spent on the audit. Which means, again, you can easily check if the audit is still valid or not. And yeah. And then regarding the findings, you can easily see in a table that, for example, if there's some kind of issue, then in next revision of the audit it was fixed, which is a good sign. If there's just like table of issues which were not fixed, it's probably a bad sign that the protocol didn't fix it, or they didn't pay for the next revision of the audit. Both is bad. And of course, when you see an audit where is, I don't know, 8 critical issues. Probably the auditing company is very good, but the protocol is garbage, which is also a sign of warning. So the best case is, okay, there can be 1 or 2 criticals, but then in the next revisions of the audit, it should be like only some low-hanging fruit, but not so critical issues. Then it means, okay, they made a mistake, but they fixed that. But if it's 8 issues, it's a problem. Okay, so this is the audit that's delivered for the client. If you would be interested, there's a link on one of our latest reports for the Hyper-DeFi protocol. It was a very big audit, revision 1.3, so it was 3 times iterated. And just remember, the audit is not a lifesaver. It's just like end of the security process. But the most of the security process is in the hands of the internal team. The auditors cannot save if the team is garbage. You know, they can just like catch something, but mainly it depends on the team. So I've created something that we call Web3 security pyramid. It's kind of obvious for anyone who has been in software development for some time, but still we are getting like audits of protocols that are written by one guy. That's the first stage, code review, which is, it has the biggest impact on security, is the cheapest thing to do. Please have at least 2 guys that are working on the same code and that they share the Git workflow by doing code reviews together. This saves much more security issues than expensive audit. The second thing, of course, you need to write tests. So unit tests, it's nothing new. It should be in every software. In blockchain contracts, it's a must. Still, many protocols don't have it. The best test coverage is 100%. If it's 90, we can live with that, but like 10% is a no-go. Then what can you do very easily? There's plenty of tools for open source tools, free tools for static analysis. We are writing one of them. It basically just means you run some script over your contract. It outputs you some kind of findings that the static analyzer can find themselves. You know, you don't have to pay for that. It's very easy to use for free, so also helps. And then stage number 4, which is kind of like higher level, but highly recommended for DeFi protocols, for example, or cross-chain protocols, is fast testing, which means you need to have testing framework that allows writing fast tests. Our framework does it, or Foundry does it. And in this framework, basically, you try all possible inputs on all possible functions in all possible orders, and it can find some edge cases. And if you have these 4 layers of the pyramid, then you can go and approach for the audit, and then it's not a waste of money. Then it will save some of the things that you have missed. If you don't do the 4 stages before, then probably the audit will find some criticals, and they will just return it to you back, and you have to pay again for the audit, and it doesn't really make sense. So in the end, yeah, this is the dwarf celebrating the successful launch of the protocol. And if you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer them later outside on the bar. Thank you.